I'm Courtney. We're a family of 5 trying to grow as much of our own food as we can, and we raise chickens. Our kids wanted to name our little backyard farm, so we did. It's called Heart Pine Farms.
It's now the end of April, and we planted this bed of Danvers carrots last September, early September, and I wanted to bring you along for the harvest so that we can see together if these carrots are still going to be good.
We planted 1 bed of carrot seeds last year in mid-August and 3 more beds 1 month later using the board method for better germination. We plant a few seeds every few inches in each row, covering lightly with soil. We place boards on top of the rows, and when it's dry, we just water right on top of the boards and the water seeps underneath them. The boards keep the soil moist for germination, also protecting the tiny seeds so they don't become displaced if it rains hard. We prop the boards up with bricks to protect the tiny seedlings until they grow bigger. Using this method of planting is especially helpful during hot weather because the boards also help to cool the soil. I've taken the temperature of the soil during the hottest part of the day before, and it was around 10 degrees cooler underneath the boards where the seeds were. We like to plant carrots at the end of summer and harvest in late fall or winter so we don't take up bed space with them in the spring and early summer. The carrots also become sweeter after being exposed to frost or freezes. We grow Danvers carrots usually. The beds we just harvested in April are a good example of what happens if we plant too late. The mid-August planted bed was ready by the end of November, but we didn't harvest the whole thing until January. All of the carrots in that harvest were fully formed, and it was a great harvest of beautiful carrots. We canned them and ended up with 15 quart jars. The September planted harvest was not as good. It just shows the difference even a month can make. The carrots didn't have time for substantial growth and maturity before below freezing temps arrived a few weeks earlier than normal in October. Most of the root growth had happened in the spring, and we also left them in the ground too long. Many of the carrots were dried out and cracked. We still had some decent carrots to eat fresh, but not enough to can. We treated the soil in all of the raised beds the same, utilizing cover crops earlier in the year, crop rotation, and making sure we added plenty of organic matter before planting. Our soil is loose and well draining, and we do soil tests to make sure we know what we're working with. On a side note, too much nitrogen in the soil will cause beautiful top growth and stunted root formation, while phosphate and potassium help encourage root growth. Since this wasn't the issue in this case, we think planting timing played a big part in the difference between these harvests. Our advice for a late fall or winter harvest of carrots would be to plant early enough to give the carrots time to mature. Also, there are varieties of carrots that mature more quickly than others, so it's important to know the approximate days to maturity while determining the planting date. Our Danvers carrots are usually ready after around 90 days after planting them around mid-August. Carrots are biennials and they become dormant during the winter. We've seen that leaving them in the ground all winter won't kill them, but if they resume too much growth in the spring before harvesting, the texture of the carrots definitely changes. We hope that sharing our experiences with different planting times and harvests will help you figure out what works best for you in your growing zone.